Okay, I think we are live. Kicking off the Awaken Your Goddess Confidence Challenge. I'm super excited. Super excited to be with you tonight. Let's see if we can get some people tagged over. If you are in the group, I think this is streaming to both the event and to the group. Just trying to get everybody over here. Once you are here, tell me hello. Tell me how you're doing. We're getting everybody invited over. I'm super excited for this tonight. Let me know if you are as well. Okay. If you have, is Tanya here? Let's see if Tanya is here. Tanya is here. If you have not registered for this event, I'm going to ask that you officially register for it because these lives will go away. And if you want to get the information or you want to rewatch it, it'll be up for a little while. It'll be up for 24 hours and then it will go away tomorrow. But if you want the ability to rewatch it, it will be delivered to your email outside of this. So if you have not registered for the event, Tanya's got a beautiful Kartra link that she can give you. I also want to welcome Tanya to Team Aaliyah. Tanya is working with me. She's my sidekick right now. And her and I have been doing a lot of work trying to get the Kartra up and running and trying to get this event up and running. So I'm just getting everybody invited. Give me just a moment. Okay. The front part of this may take just a little bit long. Just bear with me if you will. Bear with me if you will. I'm inviting everybody I can. Throat chakra wants to clear. I've been doing a lot of clearing today. A lot of clearing. We had a healing vibe and chilling wealth this morning, and then I've been doing a lot of clearing for this event as well. So, up-leveling in my own experience, doing all the things. I've got lettuce in my teeth. I just had a salad. Y'all just bear with me here. Sometimes I can be a little bit of a mess. Didn't floss properly before I stepped into the live stream. Oh well. Okay. I think I got everybody invited. Hello. Hello, Ela. Hello, Sally. Hello, Sheba. Hello, Tanya. Thank you so much, Tanya, for dropping that link. Hello, Morgan. Christine Thompson is here. Woo-hoo. I'm so glad to see you here. Katrina, hi. Melanie, hi. Jessie is here. Hello. Okay, we're going to give everybody just a minute to pop on. Going to talk a little bit. You hear the noise in the background. You hear Teddy. It's a normal thing. I go live. He gets mad at his blankie, and we got to fluff it all up. And so if you hear a dog like screaming or sounds like he's screaming in the background, I swear to God, nobody's hurting him. He's just a spoiled rotten brat, and he's trying to get his blankie comfy. Okay. Okay, so I want to kick this off with a little question, right? Hi, Kim. I want to kick this off with a little question. If you've ever been through shit in your life, raise your hand. If you've ever been through shit in your life, raise your hand. If you've ever had to fight the darkness, fight the dark feelings, fight the shadows, fight the inner child, raise your hand. Say yes. I've been through some shit in my life. Been through shit in my life, right? You are not alone. You are not alone. We come here for the experience. We come here for the experience of life itself. And oftentimes, what we don't realize is that we're not just here to face all the pleasantries that life gives us. Because you know what? If you look around, there's a lot of pleasantries that life can give us. There's a lot of beauty in this world. There's a lot of beautiful experiences that you're going to have in this world. And then there's going to be the shit that we have to go through. It's polarity, right? So we are here for the experience of life, which includes polarity. So we've all been through shit in our lives. We've all faced shit in our lives. I want to just express for just a moment that you're not alone in facing that shit in your lives. What is the one thing, I want you to answer another question for me. What is the one thing that seems to be the one constant that you constantly having to battle through? Is it money? Is it romance? Is it friendships? Is it, I don't know, feeling peace? Feeling states of self-love? Is it self-confidence? What is it? What is it that is constantly showing up in your life? Jesse says money. Morgan says life. Life in general. Let's zero that down. Zero that down, Morgan. Kim says grief. What else? What is the one thing that seems to be a constant challenge in your life? Something that you're always having to face. Is it around relationships? Is it around romance? Is it around self-conscious or self-confidence? Beating myself over and over. So we could literally put that in self-confidence, right? Morgan says pain. So dealing with a lot of bodily pain and healing. Physical pain, yes. Yes. Hi, Erica. Relationship, friends, and otherwise. Self-everything. Self-everything. So this is great. This is really great because one of the things that I want to talk to you about, we're going to be talking today a little bit about the root chakra. And the root chakra is a very important part of all of this, okay? Consistency due to health, medical, okay, self-confidence, my whole life. Katrina says self-confidence. Just when I get peace in my life, something knocks me out. Pain, grief. How about what doesn't bother me? Okay, this is good. This is why we're here. This is why we're here. I'm calling you forward. I'm calling you forward because when we are in recognition of that one constant thing that kind of keeps popping up in our life and keeps popping up in our life, the one thing that I want to say to you is that trauma can do one of two things, okay? It can either cause you to go into retreat in yourself and be passive in the pain, or it can create empowerment and to continue to heal and develop that part of yourself and become empowered around it. Oftentimes, our greatest challenge in life can very much be our purpose. Now, I want to talk to you about conscious versus unconscious. Now, these lives are going to be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, before I even start off, these lives are going to be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. So do grab some water, grab some water. Please don't, I'm going to ask that you don't write anything down. I'm going to ask that you just kind of be with me. And this is why I want you to kind of join the challenge, officially join the challenge if you haven't, okay? Everyone in the group gets it here for free. It goes away in 24 hours. But if there's a certain area that you want to come back to, I want you to come back to it when we're not live together because this is an activation that's happening right now, okay? I'm what's called a 7D activator. And what that means is that I help you kind of discover that bigger purpose inside of you. And I help you to discover those greater possibilities inside of you. And I help you to transmute those shadows and transmute those inner childs and begin that healing process so that you can begin moving forward to those bigger pieces in your life. That's the work that I do. So when you're in a container with me, I love when you're putting comments down in the chat in the live stream. I love when you're throwing comments down. I love when you're talking to me. I love it because this is connection, right? I'm also a very strong empath, a strong intuitive, and this is connection right here. Hello, Sarah. Hello. So if you haven't signed up for that challenge, if you haven't officially signed up for the challenge, get in and sign up for the challenge, so that you can get all of this email to you. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk about conscious versus consciousness. Conscious versus consciousness. So conscious is basically, if you really think about, I'm very conscious of what I'm doing here. There's a mental awareness. It's a physical body mind awareness. Okay. Your consciousness is more of everything else that your higher self is aware of. Your higher self, your higher being, your multidimensional higher being, the consciousness. That is when you are kind of in what I call with God, with self, with that divine self of God. Okay? Now, unconscious versus unconsciousness. When you're unconscious, you are asleep. Basically, you're either knocked out or you're sound asleep, right? So when we start talking about unconsciousness, what we're really talking about here is all the things that are present but you're not aware of. All the things that are present but you're not aware of. And a lot of times this is where manifestation, law of attraction, and all of those things can begin to trip you up, because you may have a conscious idea about where you want to go. You may have a conscious idea about where you want to go. You may have edified yourself on some different mindset practices, and you may have a conscious idea of what you want that to look like, right? And your consciousness is in agreement with it. However, there may be a part of your unconsciousness that has a whole different take and is playing on repeat. So as you begin to step out into your zones of genius, your conscious ideas, your unconsciousness is magnetizing things that kind of hold you back. So a lot of times what begins to happen is people will start to step forward into their momentum. They'll start to step forward into their actions. And then suddenly, their computer breaks, or the phone breaks down, or there's miscommunication, or they get sick, or somebody will say something that will knock them off their edge. It's almost like you're magnetizing kind of the opposite of what you're trying to do. And it can create a very strong push and pull into your movement. And this is where the whole lean in part gets kind of funky, because the root chakra is kind of the portal that holds all of this memory. Okay, now your root chakra it's not on the body, it's not on the physical body itself, but it's hanging out there in the energetic body right around the tailbone. So it's right in the bottom of your tailbone, and your root chakra is very, very. It's a portal of energy. So basically, what's happening is that the earth energy is coming in through that portal and giving you life and connection to the physical earth. This is going to be really, really important as we begin to move forward and understand this, okay? And when we are if you join Esoteric Emergence, which is what we're launching, if you join Esoteric Emergence, we're going to talk deeper about this. We're going to talk deeper about those inner childs, and deeper about those cord cuttings, and deeper about how we can really empower this root chakra. So the root chakra helps you to connect to earth. It helps you to connect to the physical plane. Right? It helps you to connect to the spiritual plane of earth. It's the connectivity between you and earth. Okay? And what it governs is your safety and your security. So oftentimes people will call the sacral chakra your money chakra, but in the truth, the root chakra kind of is the money power. And this is why. Because subconscious, the unconscious mindset picks up a lot between the ages of 0 to 7 years old. Actually, it's like when you're in your mother's belly and she's 7 months pregnant, that's when it begins to kind of really form. This is unconscious, subconscious receiving, okay? Subconscious receiving with mother first. So your experiences that happen between that time and 7 years old, you're actually operating in a deeper subconscious state. Your conscious mind isn't really fully developed. But your subconscious mind has. And so everything that you're receiving in that point, you're soaking in like a sponge, and it's creating a tape recorder like on repeat. It's just going and it's going and it's going and it's going. So if in that time your parents were struggling in relationships, or you were having money drama in those times, your subconscious mind is soaking up all those experiences and holding them as true, and kind of creating a little platform for you to step out into life. But what I want to say to you is this, is that I do believe that we choose our families. I do believe that we choose the experience that we're born into. As highly developed soul beings, I do believe that we choose the experience that we're born into. And I believe that we choose that experience from that highly evolved place because we know that our experience on earth is to face the polarities that that's going to cause for you. Because we're here for the experience. We're here to feel life. We're here to taste and smell and see and hear things and touch things and, physical touch and sensation that we don't get as spiritual beings. We don't get that as, spiritual beings. We get that as physical beings, right? This is the physical connection to Earth, the 3D space. We get that as physical beings, right? People think I'm crazy when I say we choose our parents. Yeah, people think I'm crazy too, and you can think I'm crazy. That's completely okay. But there's a whole lot more going on about you than what you realize, right? So this is just, this is just not your identity. Well, this may be your physical identity, that how everybody connects with you and sees you on Earth. But there's so many different layers to you. And this is how we can begin to take our power back. This is how we can begin to take hold and take our power back, is that understanding that the things that you learned as a child, and you may have had a very stable childhood, so I'm going to talk about this even more. But the main piece of this is that the experience between 0 and 7 is going to really create the impacts of the challenges that you're going to have as an adult in life, right? So the root chakra, it kind of governs that security. And if you didn't have a lot of security as a child, or you didn't feel safe as a child, that can actually transform into your adulthood. It can transform into your experience as an adult. Who is resonating with this right now? Who is feeling this and resonating with this right now? Tell me what you're feeling around it. Are you resonating with this in your own experience? Hi, Nicole. It's good to have you. Are you resonating this with your own experience? Tell me where you are right now. Tell me where you are and what you're feeling right now. And I'm going to have to drink a lot of water through this, so excuse my drinking. But I am also clearing a lot of stuff too. Jessie says, yes, 100%. Katrina's like, me, yes. I definitely chose my dad. Mind blown, resonated. Love the mind blown. Just talked about this with my therapist. Awesome. It's in alignment, feeling awake. I feel like you're talking directly to me. I probably am. Reliving my childhood. I get what you are putting down. You get what I'm putting down. She was like, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so the root chakra is connected to you're feeling grounded, you're feeling safe, you're feeling protected, your security, and how you feel in your own body. How you feel in your own body, right? And so as we start to develop a spiritual relationship, or we start to develop our spirituality, right? Sarah says this resonates. I felt very safe growing up, but had a stable home. Yep. But had an experience at the age of 7 that left me questioning a lot of things. I feel like I couldn't trust myself, and that made me feel unstable and scared. Get it. But here's the thing that I want to say to you, because there's a lot of people who's like, I've had a stable home from the ages of 0 to 7. I've had a stable environment. I had good upbringing. But so why am I experiencing this? Because your inner child just doesn't belong to you from age 0 to 7. Okay? This may be the strongest point, and this may be where the subconscious is really like soaking things in as a sponge. But we create inner childs or inner children. We create the child within us at any age. At any age, right? It just doesn't belong to 0 to 7, right? If there is severe trauma that has happened to you in your life, let's say like at age 22. I mean, for me, I had severe trauma happen to me at the age of 22. I've had trauma happen to me at the age of 17. I've had severe trauma in my 30s, right? So what begins to happen is that there is an inner child that's connected to that trauma. We create these children within ourselves. Doesn't necessarily have to be a child, but we're going to just call it the inner child, okay? We're going to call it the inner child. We begin to create these personalities that are deeply rooted in our root chakra. They become deeply rooted in our safety and our security and our power. Well, power is more like solar plexus, but safety and protection and security right through here. And if you've had challenges with things like money and relationships, it may have roots to the traumas that you experienced as you move through life. You know, I, for one, my mother was a single mom in the 70s, right? And so during those times, it wasn't as, I don't want to say accepted, because being a single mom is a hard ass job. I did it too. But she didn't have the kind of income that was coming in. She didn't have the support that she needed. And we were literally broke, living in the projects. My mother worked her ass off. My mother did everything she could. And I can remember one time my mother eating jars of baby food to save on money for me, right? So, like, there was a lot of deep-rooted trauma around my money story growing up. And that was basically age 0 to 7. But then my mother got married. She got married at, I think when I was actually 7 going on 8. She got married, and then we weren't rich, but we were okay. We were comfortable. But my stepfather was really irresponsible with money. Really irresponsible with money. And so there was constant like repossessions and things having to move all the time. And I created a child around the irresponsibility. And I took that into my early adulthood and took it even into my 30s. And it's something that I had to, as I started moving into my 40s, I had to really start to clean up and clear up and realize that I was a responsible human being, right? And begin to change those perspectives. So as you begin moving through life, those deep traumas, those deep-rooted things that you feel, they become rooted in the root chakra. And the root chakra holds them, and the subconscious mind says, that, you got to really work hard for something. You have to really work hard for your job. And I do believe we need to hustle. And I do believe we need to lean in when it's hard. I do believe in those things. But when there's a mindset that says that this has to be the way or it's not going to work, you take a day off or you get sick, and then suddenly everything begins to unwind and unfold. And next thing you know, you're feeling yourself in a financial trauma because you're magnetizing that to you. So as we start going into esoteric emergence, what's going to happen is we're going to help open up those pieces, those individual pieces of the root chakra and the experiences and the inner child. And we're going to learn how to get with the inner child. One of the things that I like to say is that I'm not a fan of going backwards, right? I am not a fan of going backwards. If you've been through the damn trauma once in your life and you have a resonance with it right now, then what is the point in going all the way back to that experience and going through that experience one more time? It's just reigniting the trauma into the now experience, right? It's just reigniting the trauma into the now experience. And so basically what we need to do is we just need to call the inner child forward that is sitting in resonance with what happened from the trauma. We call the inner child forward, and we begin to directly communicate with her that way. And we begin to show her where we are, what we've gone through, what was changed, what we shifted. We begin talking to her as if she was a child that was afraid and not burn her for being afraid. I mean, how many of you ever said, what the fuck is wrong with me? God, why am I so afraid? What the fuck? Who do I think I am? How many of you have ever said something like that to yourself? What the fuck is wrong with me? Why can't I get this? Why am I not good enough? Why am I not worthy enough? Raise your hand if that's you. It's been me too, right? It's been me too. And basically what we're doing is when we, yes, Jessie says so many times. Tanya says me. Sarah's like, yep. Katrina's like, yes. You know, Anne says, yes. Hi, Anne, I miss you. Sheba says, yes. You know, this is difficult. It's a difficult moment. And we're like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why can I not do this? What is wrong with me? What's holding me back? That right there is kind of the thing that's holding us back. Because if you think about it, these pieces, these little traumas that we've gone through, these little experiences that we've had, these polar opposites that we've had in this experience, these children are in pain. So if you think about it, if you think about a little girl that, you know, just got beat up in the playground, and she comes home and she says, I'm scared to go back into the playground again. You wouldn't be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Right? You wouldn't look at her and be like, why? What the fuck is wrong with you? Get your ass back in there, bitch. Right? You wouldn't talk to that child that way. You don't need to talk to yourself that way. These little pieces of you, they are very tender, like a child. That's why we call them an inner child. Once you've had an experience, a trauma or something happened to you in your life, that experience that's in the past belongs to another timeline, belongs to another parallel. But there's parts of you that resonate with the trauma as you begin to carry forward, right? And so if that piece of you is afraid because of the trauma it experienced, the resonance of the trauma it experienced, then it's like a child that needs to feel loved. It's like a child that needs to feel empowered. It's like a child that needs to feel healed, and it needs to integrate its inner power, right? And so you wouldn't look at that kid and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You'd probably grab that kid and hold her and love her and give her grace and peace, and maybe even mourn with her for a minute. And then you would say, this is why we get back into the playground. This is why we step back into the playground. You're no different. You are no different than that small child. You are no different, right? And so your root chakra is governing this, is governing your security and protection around this. So when we start talking about developing, it's always so much harder to give yourself. It's incredibly, when you're not used to and giving yourself grace, when you're not used to giving yourself grace, it can be incredibly hard to remember to give yourself grace. But that is also safety and security in the root chakra, right? There's an insecurity there. And so you can ask yourself, why is it hard for me to give myself grace? Why is it hard for me to be kind to myself? Were there expectations of me as a child that I couldn't meet up to, or couldn't meet up to somebody's expectations? Has there been expectations for me in my life that, you know, that I wasn't able to meet? Because, you know, we kind of get the idea growing up that, you know, we are here to serve humanity. We are here to serve one another. We are here for connection. But it has to start here, so that the love and the grace and the healing and all of that can communicate to the community in a way that's serving. Am I making sense in that? Does that make sense? The middle damn child. Okay. So what happens is when we start to get that piece where we feel called, right? And if you're in Mystic Her, you've had that feeling of being called to something greater. When I start saying those mean things to myself, I try to imagine I'm talking to a friend, and I would never say those things to my friends. Exactly. You know how I started it too. And another way that you can do this is that I imagined that there was an angelic angel, angels are angelic, a high, beautiful angel sitting in front of me, or a goddess sitting in front of me. And I'm like, would I say that to an angel? Would I say that to the goddess? No. Did I forget that angel and that goddess lives inside of me? Did I forget? Right? Because the thing is like, if you think about it, we come from the divine. We are born from the divine. We are created from the divine, which means we have divine DNA moving through our whole energetic soul, right? So when you say that to yourself, you're saying it to the goddess, you're saying it to God, you're saying it to the divine angels, and it's just really hurtful. But the thing is like, telling you not to do it anymore isn't going to make you not do it anymore. Saying, you know what, stop doing that. Just don't say that to yourself anymore. Be nice to yourself. That isn't going to heal it. It may bring some awareness to it. That's great. But just telling you to stop isn't going to help it stop. We have to understand that there's a root to these ways that we treat ourselves. We have to understand that there's a root to it, right? So oftentimes when we're in these traumatic places, and those of you who have been through some bigger level traumas, or just even some, personal transformations, same, have to find your place, because I felt alone at times. So this is another thing, we begin to develop that spirituality. We get that awaken, we feel called. And again, like I said, if you're here, you've been felt called. You felt called to something greater, right? But what begins to happen is that we get into these awakened states, and we start to really want to connect to the divine source and be in divine source all the time. And it's beautiful, right? But we got to think about what the root chakra is designed for and why you're here. What the root chakra, I'm checking my time, what the root chakra is designed for and why you're here. Because, and this is I'm going to talk to those of you who have felt like, you know what? I feel like I don't belong on earth. How many of you have ever said that? Like, I feel like I'm from another star system. I feel like I'm from another light system. I feel like a stranger on earth. I feel like I don't belong here. How many of you have ever said that before? How many have ever said, I feel like I don't belong here? Definitely me. Katrina, yes. Complete alien. She was like, yes. Yes, right? Tanya's like, me, I feel like I don't belong. I feel like a weirdo. Yeah, I feel weird. This chick, right? I felt like I belong in a different generation. Okay, so like, here's the thing. Definitely don't fit in at all. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. You're a misfit toy. You are not supposed to fit in. You didn't come here to fit in. You didn't come here to be average, and you didn't come here to fit in. You didn't come in here so that you look the same and feel the same and act the same as everybody else. You didn't come here for that. You came here because you probably did come from a more highly evolved system. Maybe you've had several lifetimes. Maybe you're an old soul. Maybe there's something about you that needed to be here on earth for these times right now. Who are you in all of this waking stuff that's happening on the planet right now? All this crazy stuff that's happening on the planet right now. Could it be that you were called here for this? And I think that we all have a different capacity to serve, right? And in different areas of life. I had an experience the other day, and I want to talk to you about this because I think this is important as we begin to talk about this conversation. I was speaking with a lady the other day that was in my community here, and she was telling me about a house fire that she had last year, where it destroyed everything, killed her dogs. It was horrible. Hey, Laura. Horrible house fire that derailed her life. And one of the things, we're talking about all the things that happened in the house fire and all the trauma and tragedy and all the things that were happening, and just the crisis zone that she was in. And it was just horrible. And then one of the things that she said to me, and my whole body just started shaking, because I was like, this is what esoteric emergence is all about. This is what it's all about, right? One of the things that she said to me was, when we were in our deepest crisis in life, this community came up and it served. She said, sometimes when you get in those places where, it's so hard, there's COVID, there's pandemic, there's politics, there's people fighting each other, there's, black versus white, Americans versus Mexicans, Democrats versus Republicans, yada, yada, yada. She said, when we were in crisis, the humanity in this community pulled together. And within minutes, this community stepped up to serve. The other day, it was 9/11. I didn't really talk about it the other day because I have a really hard time with 9/11. I lost a very good friend to the towers falling in 9/11. So it's something that I kind of do peacefully and on my own, sending off love and, trying just to connect to her and just sending her that love. But I can remember one of the things that happened in 9/11. I don't know if you guys remember this, but right after it happened, it was so tragic. It was so tragic. It was so awful. But all of a sudden, people were unified. People were coming together. Humanity was coming together. It was, it didn't matter what side of the Republican or Democratic or political side that you were on. It did not matter. Didn't matter. Kind of humanity came in and supported and loved one another. And next thing you know, you were seeing, beautiful signs about America and beautiful signs about, it was everywhere. It was everywhere, right? Yeah, it was everywhere. And I can remember thinking, if anything happened in this country, look at the humanity that's here. Look at the humanity. I tell people 9/12 was my favorite day because we became whole. We certainly did. And it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful, right? I mean, as tragic as it was, humanity came in and it came together. And we're in times that are trying. We're in times that are trying, and people are being pitted up against one another right now. People are fighting amongst one another right now. The vaccinated, the unvaccinated, the vaccine's bullshit, it's not bullshit. Biden, Trump, yeah, whatever it is, we're pitted up against each other constantly. And I don't know about any of you, but as an intuitive myself and as somebody who gets visions of things that happen in the world, I've seen some very grave things to come. And one of the things that hit me was Spirit was actively pushing me into different things and showing me different things and showing me where to go and this need to happen and this need to happen. And then all of a sudden I realized I've been playing fucking small this whole time because I've been in fear of my own deeper purpose. Anybody feeling me? You guys getting me? You feel Spirit nudging, you feel Spirit pushing you, you feel it, right? But all of a sudden you realize maybe I'm playing small. Because one of the things that I can say to you is that when the conversations around politics begin, I start to become like this. It's like an inner volatile feeling. It makes me sick. Politics, when people start talking about it, this inner volatile feeling comes up and it makes me sick. And I had to look at that and I had to say, why is this making me ill? Why is this making me sick? Why do I get so upset and so angry when people start talking about politics? And it's because I realized that this was an area in life that I knew had some degree of importance. Oh, totally fine that you're late. I'm glad you're here. I knew that this is an area that has some degree of importance. Please don't take notes. I'll explain why again in just a second. I just want you to be with me. I realized that this was also another thing that was challenging me. This was another thing that was challenging me that had some level of purpose. And there was fear in trying to understand it. So you guys get what I'm putting down here? I think it's important for us right now to be edified on the things that are happening in the world. But I also think this is such a time for us to be developing our intuitive gifts, our intuitive power, our goddess power, our goddess confidence, so that when we see the events that have happened, we can make an intuitive assumption about the way that we feel around it and what that means to us as individuals. Because if we can gain the knowledge around what's happening in the world and edify ourselves from an intuitive space, turn off the noise in the discussions, turn off the Fox News channel or the whatever news channel, get the facts, get the things that are happening, and then sit with it. And ask yourself, what does this mean to me? How do I feel about this? Not how does everybody else feel about it? How do I feel about it? What am I connecting to? What am I seeing? What am I afraid of? Why am I feeling volatile? Why am I feeling upset? Why am I feeling angry? What is connected to this that's making me feel this way? The greatest thing that you can do for your root chakra is grab pen and paper. The greatest thing that you can do for your root chakra is get pen and paper and write down those emotions. Ask those questions. Answer yourself. Pour it into the page. Pour out your emotions into the page. Let yourself be aware of what's unconscious. Right? Because when we do this, the unconscious comes into the conscious awareness. And then when we integrate it, it becomes part of our consciousness. Right? So it's like, journaling, people scoff at it. People scoff at journaling. People scoff at grabbing that pen and paper. I don't want to do it. It's too hard. I don't feel like it. And it's one of the most powerful things that you can do for yourself, because no matter what you're writing about, no matter what you're talking about, you are releasing something into the page. It's releasing from the chakra systems. It's releasing from the body. And what it's doing is it's bringing you into conscious awareness around what is really going in the subconscious mind. It's such a powerful tool. I mean, you can get it at the dollar store for 99 cents. A book like this for 99 cents. And even some pens for 99 cents. Or if you really want to invest in it, you get yourself some beautiful journals and some beautiful pens, and you dedicate it just to your journaling. Because this piece is going to help you heal. But what we do is we try to go into the 5D, and we try to stay in the 5D, and I'm all about quantumifying your experience. I'm all about quantum. I'm all about it. But if you're living in the 3D, if you're living in the 5D all the time, and you're not facing the dark parts that you feel within yourself, this is why I'm calling forward the warrioress, the warriors, the warrior-ass. This is why I'm calling you forward, because if you're only looking at what's light and you're too afraid to face the dark pieces that belong to you. We are polarity beings. We have both light and dark within us. We are polarity beings, right? And if you're too afraid to look at the darkness within you, what's going to happen is that your experiences outside of you are going to start to mimic the darkness that you don't allow yourself to feel. So if you're feeling volatile around politics and you're not writing it out and you're not getting the facts and you're not feeling into your intuition, what's going to begin to happen is you're going to start to see the ugliness of it everywhere. And it's going to feel awful, 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 awful. We all have dark and light places. Nobody is exempt of that. And if you're in the 5D realm all the time, you're not experiencing your purpose for the 3D reality. You came here to live in this dimension. You came here. One of my mentors was just talking about this. And I had this written for this program. I said, this is so in alignment with me right now, because this is what I've been talking about. We're here to live in the 3D. We are here. We came here. Whether you came from another light system, whether you came from another planet, whether you came from another time, you were brought here by the divine. The divine said, come, you're needed. Your energy is needed. Your weirdness, your uniqueness, your not fitting inness, all of that stuff is needed on this planet right here, right now, in whatever capacity it is that you serve. So you look at what your challenges are. You look at what you've been challenged with all your life, and you say, you know what, I'm not going to allow it to keep re-traumatizing me. I'm not going to allow it to keep beating me down. I'm going to look at that damn challenge, and I'm going to lean into the challenge. I'm going to lean into what's hard. I'm going to begin deconstructing what's not true and building what is, creating what is. I get to create right here, right now, all the time. I'm going to use this as the greatest victory of my damn life, and I'm going to get on the other side of it. And then you're going to ask yourself, what does this mean? What does this mean in these times? How am I here to serve humanity? How am I here to impact humanity? It starts with you. If you're giving out before you do that work, if you're giving out and giving out and giving out, and you're not doing the inner work, and you're not taking care of yourself, and you're not seeing what it is, then you're giving from an empty cup. You're giving from a place where there's just air, and you're exhausting yourself, and you're bringing yourself into further battle. It's not the word I want to use, but that other word left my head, right? So it's really time to start understanding that you are here in this 3D reality. You're here in this physical reality to live this reality, to have these experiences, and have the connection to 5D, have the connection to 6D, 7D, 8D, have those connections, but bring those connections down into the earth plane where you belong, where you're here to serve at a greater capacity. For everybody, it's different. It all looks different. We're all here for different reasons. Grab that pen and paper and ask, why am I here? How am I to serve? And you don't have to expect the answers to come right away. You don't have to expect the answers to come right away. You can ask the question and know that the answer is going to arrive. Ask the question and know that the answer is going to arrive, because when you begin asking yourself beautiful questions, the conscious mind begins looking for answers, and the consciousness comes forward, the higher self comes forward, it begins delivering you the answers. It begins showing you signs into the world, right? Whew. I'm wondering how much I need to leave for the next live, because this is a lot. This is a lot, right? So how can your purpose be determined? It gets determined by what you desire. It gets determined by what it is that you want. You lead, the divine follows. You lead, the divine follows. You tell the divine, this is why I'm here. It may change. It may change. We are multidimensional beings with multi-talents. Multiple talents. Multiple talents. We are limitless beings. So your purpose right here, right now, may be for something right here, right now. And next year, 2 years, 3 years from you, you begin to evolve in that purpose, and it begins to become something else. So you be in this place where you're like, divinity. This is what I'm feeling called to. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm here to do. I'm going to step forward. I'm going to be looking to heal and integrate this over here as I start making bolder choices over here. And I allow you to serve me as I serve humanity, as I serve myself, as I serve humanity. I allow the divine to serve me. It becomes a beautiful co-creation process. And it doesn't always happen in a blink of an eye. We're here to feel the feelings. We're here to experience the experiences. We're here to align and disalign. If you don't think that you're here to get out of alignment every once in a while, you're fooling yourself. You are here to fall off out of alignment. You are here to fall down. You are here to fall on your ass. That's what you're here for. You're here to fall on your ass, and you're here to also get back up. Absolutely. Right? First I have to ask the question of why the fear of me just opening up to the universe. Ooh. There's something there in childhood. Where did it first stem from? I used to have a fear of talking to God because I used to think that God was mean. When I was a little girl, I used to think God was mean. You're supposed to fear God. That was my thing in my family. You got to fear God. And I did. I was scared. I was scared. And then God kept coming to me. So I stopped being scared. It takes time. It all takes time. It all takes time, right? Okay. So we talked a little bit about the inner child. We talked about how the inner child is formed. We were going to talk just briefly on how shadows are formed. So a shadow and inner child is just a little bit different. An inner child is of course that person, that part of you that is made during a traumatic event. But the shadow is a reflection of the unconscious, right? Wow, you're saying everything that's been in my head lately, love this, is helping me to make sense of it all. I'm so glad. So glad. So we are going to be talking about transmuting and clearing the root chakra and the things that you can do to do that. So we're also going to be talking about clairsentience just a tiny bit. So clairsentience is actually connected to your heart chakra, which we'll be talking about on day 4. But it is also tied in to the root, right? It's also tied into the root. What is clairsentience? Clairsentience it's a psychic feeling. It's a psychic feeling that you have. And what I love about the clairsentience ability is because it shows up in so many different ways for so many different people. And I think more of us have it than not. I think more of us have clairsentience than not. It's a feeling ability. So it can come in as a physical feeling, and it can also come in as kind of like a internal feeling. There's an objective and a subjective part of this, right? So the objective clairsentience, the objective clairsentience is I feel tingles on my body, or I feel cobwebs in my face, or, I'm feeling energy with my hands. I got like an energy ball and I can feel the energy ball in my hands, right? That's an objective clairsentience ability. Now, subjective clairsentience ability is really connected to your intuition, and that is, I feel something about that person. Something's off with their energy. Something's off with their chi. I'm feeling something's going to happen in the world. I've been feeling kind of like this doom and gloom all around me. Or I'm feeling, I'm feeling like that's not a good idea, or I feel like that is a good idea. That's an internal feeling, which is a subjective clairsentience feeling. And then the other topic, what we're talking about on day 4, is also empathy, right? So empathic ability actually stems off of clairsentience. They've given it its whole clair. It's called clair empathy now. But back in the day, when this, which was learning, 20, 30 years ago, clair empathy was definitely in the category of clairsentience, okay? And what clair empathy is of course feeling other people's emotions, feeling other people's energy. We'll talk about that more later. And there could be 2 parts to clair empathy. There's also a subjective and objective part of clair empathy. And that is, of course, feeling other people's physical pain, which I get. Just not fun. Or subjective clair empathy, which is like feeling people's emotions. And some of us are blessed with both. But what can happen is if our root chakra is unbalanced and is not being cared for or taken care of, it can affect these abilities that lie within the heart chakra, because the heart and the root have a direct line to one another. So if you would, just take your left hand, and I want you just to place it on the bottom of your spine. Just kind of like place it at the bottom of the spine, and take your right hand and place it in the center of your chest. This is such a nice little practice just to kind of be an awareness of your body, right? The root chakra is asking you to be an awareness of your body. This is connectivity to safety, to security, to love of self, and to feeling grounded and a part of this earth, and understanding that your uniqueness is needed here. You are needed here so much, sister. You are needed. People need more than just the average Joe out there. All of your extra is needed. So I just want you to feel into those two places, and I just want you to close your eyes for a minute. I want you to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And I want you to feel everything that's coming through in the heart chakra and in the base of your spine. Nice big deep breath through the nose. And exhale that out. Such a powerful little exercise that you can do for just a couple minutes, just to get a really interconnectivity and breathing, feeling the breathing move from the heart into the root. And what happens is that you'll begin to feel emotions kind of coming up around this. Maybe it's emotions you can't quite put your finger on, right? So what we do is we get pen and paper. And after we do that exercise, we just write out what we felt. Nothing's wrong. You cannot get this wrong. Right? So it could be anything that you're feeling, but you just write it out and get it out, clear it out. That's clearing it out. Another thing that you can do is, if you got all right now, well, pay attention to your butte. Wherever you are sitting, wherever you are sitting, please just bring all of your attention into your booty, right out, into your booty. Feel it. Feel your booty. Feel your booty connected to the chair that you're sitting in. Almost like pull your booty down into the chair that you're sitting in. Pull the booty down into the chair that you're sitting in. Almost so that you can almost pretend like you can feel the material on the chair through your pants, your panties, or whatever you got going on over there. You want to feel, you almost want to imagine the skin and the fabric are meeting. Pull it down deep, deep, deep. Put all of your attention into your booty. Put all of your attention into your booty. Yeah, so just to let you know, like, I know that you also had a history of pain and falling and stuff like that. But if you do have problems in the lower spine, if you do have problems in your hips, if you have problems in your legs, if you have a problem with indigestion in this area, it may actually be tied to a root chakra that's weakened, that's weak, right? And if you do have injury, it can make it exponentially worse when you have a weakened root chakra system. And, so I want you to be paying attention to this, listening to the pain in your body. Now, here's something interesting I do when I get here. If you're feeling that tension and pain in the hips or in the legs or in the butte, right, or in the lower abdomen, you're feeling pain or lower back, go into the pain and ask where it first came from. It's not like it's going to come up and be like, hey, yo, Kathy. I see Kathy's face, so I'm going to call her out. Hey, yo, Kathy, I'm here because... But you will get an intentional feeling, and if it's not right away. We are in a microwave society. I love all of you beautiful faces. I'm the same way. I'm impatient as hell. But we want results fast, right? We want results fast. We got to have it now. And here's the thing. It doesn't work that way. And if you're fighting with it, it's going to take a little bit longer to show up, right? So you got to know that you ask. I know that you had a car accident, but what made that area already vulnerable? That's what I want you to ask. What was vulnerable to begin with before the accident, right? Before the accidents, before where you fell down, or before where you fallen off something, where did the vulnerability in this area begin? It's around safety and security. It's around money. It's around the earthly things in the world. So we're feeling into our booty. We're talking to the pain. We're asking it where did it come from. And we're allowing the feeling, the subjective, intuitive, clairsentient feeling to arrive. We just ask and we let go. We ask and we let go. This is such a powerful way to actually develop your ability. So what we'll be talking about in esoteric emergence. Okay, so be working on that. Be working on feeling into your body. Feel into your feet. Feel into your hands. Let your shoulders drop. Feel into your body. pick a piece of your body tonight to really get into and feel. Talk to it. Ask where its vulnerabilities are showing up. If it's feeling vulnerable, if you have a pain. It could be a pain in your arm. If you have a pain in your arm, go to it. Ask where it's showing up, where the pain is vulnerable and showing up. I'm going to stop this here, but I do want to say this. Esoteric emergence is going to be, this is just a tiny piece of esoteric emergence. Esoteric emergence begins on 10/1, okay? Esoteric emergence begins on 10/1, and this is it's not just about developing your psychic abilities. It's not just about finding out where your money story is. It's not just about your spirit guides. It's about bringing all of that from the 5D, 7D, 8D planes and bringing it into a 3D world, developing into your purpose, developing into your gifts, and living a divinely guided life in the 3D world. Because we got to be here. We got to be present. We got to be here, right? And we're awakened beings. We're being called to something. Our warrioress is being called. And that's what esoteric emergence is all about. It's about bringing that fire. It's about bringing that flame. It's about where you've walked through and bringing those ashes and looking to see where the rebuild is. Not the rebuild. I hate that word. The build is. The create is. The newness is. The new identity that has always been present emerges, right? And of course, as you know me, if you've worked with me before, me and Tanya right now are working on the Kartra page to build out that page for you, that shopping page that's going to just grab you and make you want to sign up. But here's the thing. You guys know that when the page is created, the early bird is gone. When the page is created, the early bird is gone. No ifs, buts, ands about it. So right now, that program is 9 weeks long. I was going to make it 6. Spirit told me to make it 9. It's 9 weeks long. Starts on October 1st. And for the entire 9 weeks, you can expect fire content like this. Feeling charged and activated for 5:55. That's it. The early bird. It's not going to be that amount when the page gets up. And if you are interested in this, I can do a payment plan. I can do a split payment plan for the 555. If you're interested in that, put EE in the comments. Put a giant EE in the comments, and I'll message you. Okay. Now here's the thing. I got another offer. So if you want to VIP this, if you're like, you know what, I like this shit. This feels good. I want to VIP it. You're going to be working with me one-on-one as well as the program. It's for the VIP, it's $2,222. So if you're interested in the VIP, I will message you, Jessie, on Esoteric Emergence. And if you are interested in the VIP, just drop down VIP, and I will personally message you, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so tomorrow we're moving up the chakra systems. We're going to be talking sacral. We're going to be talking creativity. Okay, and passion, purpose, and fire. That all happens tomorrow. It was originally scheduled for 8 p.m. I do have a client call that I wanted to make. It's very important to make tomorrow, so it's kind of push it up a little bit. I was going to drop it down to 12:30, but I was like, no, I don't need to do that. We're just going to push it up to 8:30, so it'll be 30 minutes after the hour tomorrow. I will see you here. Okay, if you've not signed up for this, sign up for the free thing so that you get everything in your email. I love you guys. Have a great night.